Today's episode is dedicated to your success. Hi everyone, this is Enzo with the Race Driver Coach Show. I hope you enjoyed the motorsport weekend, race weekend vlog that I did yesterday, day before, and the day before. It was basically an insight for what it's like to be on a race weekend, with a title fighting driver, and it was just me with my iPhone walking around. It's not really high tech the way I recorded it. I just used an app on the phone, which is called Splice, by the way, if anyone's interested, and it's great. So it just proves, I turned out these videos, I just did them throughout the day, did them on the night in the airport, finished at the hotel, uploaded it, and away you go. And I used Canva for like the photos that you see inside it. So it's really efficient now to create a vlog of any kind. So what I hear people say a lot is, I want to document my career. I want to get a social media following, but the problem is I haven't got the right equipment. My sound equipment isn't great. My camera's not great. I'm not sure what post-editing software, video editing software to use. Don't worry about it. It's much better just to point and shoot with the phone you've got, because the phones now are crazy. The way the cameras work, they're amazing. It's good enough. Just use the audio off that, or get a plug-in lav mic that goes on here, that goes into the phone. It's very, very easy. So there's no excuse now not to make a vlog. So that's just one thing. I think if you want to build up a social media following for your career, because for a race driver, it's quite easy to get social media following. If you want to give the content, don't worry about equipment. Just point and shoot, upload. Point, shoot, upload. You don't need all this fancy kit. Okay, that's the last lesson from that race weekend. So take a look at them vlogs on this YouTube channel if you haven't seen them, because you'll see that and you'll go, actually, yeah, I can create that on the go on my iPhone and upload it on the same day. That's all you need to do. So it's great. So today is all about your success, as I said, because reading between the lines, between the comments I'm getting and things, again, it comes down to people saying, I know that I want to achieve whatever it is. I want to achieve X goal, but the problem is I'm still not doing it. I'm facing a certain challenge, an obstacle, something, a hurdle that's standing in my way for this goal at the moment, and it's stopping me. It's keeping me on square one. And you could be in F1 right now, and you'll be on square one, believe it or not. You'll have this challenge, because it's square one is pretty much where you are now. And then you've got all these steps to get into what you really want. So somebody is in Formula One, but wants to win the title. They're pretty much on square one, because this is where I am. I'm in the seat. I'm in an F1 car. It's not a great one. I can't win. How am I going to get myself into a car that can win to win the title, right? That's their dream goal. For you, it might be, for most people that are watching this, it's going to be a lot lower. You're going to have a goal of just being a race driver, of being a professional one, getting paid, getting to F1 in the first place. Or maybe it's outside of racing. Either way, we've all got goals. We've all got things that we really want to shoot for, or most people have. But there's a big chasm between where you are and where you want to be. That is what needs to be bridged. That's the walk, the gap that you need to walk. Create a bridge and walk across it. Too many people are staying on square one in terms of year by year, they're no closer. Their starting point is still the same. They're talking themselves out of taking the actions needed to get that goal. And they just give you a story of why they can't achieve it. I'm not from the right country. I don't have the money. I haven't got the connections in the sport or the business, whatever it is, the sector that I need. And they just stop there. They have that as being their hurdle, their ball and chain that holds them back throughout their whole life. And that dream gets no closer. This is what I want to, this video maybe can help you or prevent you from falling from that same trap. Because most people, right, they have these dreams, these goals, but they never achieve them just because they stay on step one, because they got this bullcrap excuse of why they can't go for it. And it's just a small hurdle. And you know already that if somebody has already gone from your kind of level where you are now and they've achieved what you want, somebody's already walked that path, then it is possible. It's doable. It's repeatable. And I need you to believe that. I really do, because it's truth. If someone's done it before, it's doable again. If somebody hasn't done it before, it's usually doable as well. There's always a first. You look at anyone like an Elon Musk, Richard Branson, these people have done stuff that other people didn't think was possible because they've also had the goal. They've also seen how to make it across. We're going to talk about that. So let's just look now. I'm going to start drawing, right? So say you got this goal at the very top. This is the goal that you see as being your number one. First of all, I want you to make it as juicy as possible. Have that dream goal meaning so much to you that you are obsessed with it. You wake up each morning, ping, it's the first thing on your mind. Not, shall I go through my phone and scroll social media? Not, should I just press the snooze button and have some more sleep? It's not. As soon as the eyes open, it's thinking of the goal. It's like, there it is again. I'll give you 10 seconds just to wake up first, but it's the thing that's there, and you're obsessed by it, and all it does is fill your mind throughout the day, all the way till you go to sleep again. And I know that sounds a bit too obsessive, but if you're really interested in revolutionizing your life, in transforming it, in going from where you are now to where you want to be, and that where you want to be is miles away, then you have to be obsessed. It has to be your core focus throughout the days, because then obviously you spot things, then you spot opportunities, or you take actions towards it. You can't help. It's like law of attraction. You know what you want. You've amped it full of so many reasons to get there. And then you just can't help but act on it. And you feel energized when you get closer. That is pretty much in essence what it is. And don't forget that you've got to attach so many things to your goal that you want. What's it going to help you avoid? The situation you're in now? What will it help you escape from if you achieve that goal? What will it help you get? So attain. Is it money? Is it fame? Is it something else? You can look after your family. How have you made it your goal? Because at the end of the day, there's so many things you could aim for, not just in racing, but in anything. But somehow your mind is attached emotion to that goal. And then it gets to a point where it says, I want that. It's realized that in looking at that inspires you. It allows you to express yourself. It touches upon your very inner needs, like significance, like contribution, like spontaneity, all these things, right? Love, connection with others. These are big for a human being. And somehow you've attached it to a goal. All of a sudden that goal means a lot to you. That's all you've done. The brain has associated pleasure to something, and then it gets your focus. It gets your attention. So whatever you've done that with, great, whatever your goal is, but I want you to amp it up. What really could your goal get you? Why do you love it? Remind yourself of that all the time, just to feed the obsession. That's step one. Now, step two is a little bit more practical. It's like, okay, you've got this goal. That's great. But how can I basically use that goal to drive me more daily? And then it has to become more subjective. It's like, okay, if I wanted to say I wanted to be in F1, that's great, that's nice, but I can see there's lots of drivers in F1, or some drivers in F1 that don't really deserve to be there. So instead, I'm going to have a goal that's a little bit harder to measure. A lot of people don't like this. It freaks them out if you can't measure it. A little bit harder to measure, but it holds you accountable. So instead of having a goal of, I want to be in F1, because believe me, once you're there, you're going to need another goal. That's only a step. F1's only a step. It's not the main goal. It's not as great as you think to be there sometimes. It can be hell. But anyway, it is something like, I want to be the best driver in the world. That's hard to measure. That's hard to even prove. But having a goal that you never know if you've quite reached is quite amazing, because the obsession never stops. It's not a case of you being like an athlete that gets everything and then they fizzle out and their motivation dies because they've got everything they wanted. If you want to be the best driver ever, or should I say the best driver at that time, then that never stops. And what it'll do is you'll be in the gym. You'll be at your max rep, your last one. You've got 9 out and you can't do any more. And all of a sudden, you'll have a flash question that will ask you, if I wanted to be the best driver in the world, could I pump out one more? And all of a sudden, your mind says yes. And even if you only get halfway through the next one, it's still having a goal that's kind of so outlandish, so immeasurable. It's like 10xing Grant Cardone again. It pushes the mind more, and it asks the question: today, did I act in a way that the best driver in the world would? And that's kind of your benchmark then. Again, you never know the answer, but something deep inside says, no, I could have worked more. I could have called that person that I didn't call, and I put it off. The best driver in the world, or whatever it is your goal is, would have made that call. Tomorrow, I'm going to make that call. That's why I like having a goal that's kind of a bit juicier than just getting to F1, earning this much money, getting to something else. It's like, right, I want all that stuff to be a byproduct. I want earning money to be a byproduct of being the best in my industry. That's how champions really are. Again, going to the people that are really striving forward in their sector, in their industry, they're more driven by a mission. They've got billions in the bank account, but they're still driven. That's because their goal is a bit bigger than what most people have. It's not really measurable, and you keep chasing it. But you're so obsessed with the process. You're so happy with being in the process of the chase that you're fulfilled. It's not a case of, if I don't get there, I feel bad and I'm a failure. It's no, I just love the chase. I love the feeling of progressing every day. Get there. How can you get there with your goal? Ask yourself that now. If you've got a goal, make it a bit bigger, a bit more subjective and less measurable. I want to be the best in the world at something. And all of a sudden, it changes the way you train. It changes the way you wake up in the morning. It changes who you are and how you work every single day. So you got to amp up the goal first, okay? That's pretty much step one. The second thing I want to talk about is how you get there, the route. So when you look at the goal, you've got to know really where you are now. And then obviously this is the path. To go from where you are to where you want to be, you're going to have little things, little benchmarks along the way. So if it's F1 at the top, or to be the greatest driver, this is just an example, you're going to have all the different championships. You're going to have, right, I've got to get sponsorship. So you're going to have sort of basically a route, a path. You've got to know your path. You've got to know basically reverse engineer it. If I wanted to be the best in the world, or if I wanted to reach this target, what would I have to do that? Say, right, in 5 years, I need to be here, in 3 years. And then you bring it down to now. What is it I can do now to make the biggest impact, to jump forward, to leap forward towards that goal? What is it? And you write it down, just one. And that's what you focus on doing. Pretty simple, right? Instead of thinking like most people do, they see that goal, they see where they are now, and they just fill their head full of all the different hurdles and obstacles that are in their way. You haven't got time to do that, because that's just going to make you give up hope. That's going to make you feel like you can't do it. You're not resourceful. But as a human being, you are super resourceful. And you've got 6 billion, 7 billion other human beings that can help you get there. It's not, you don't just have to do it on your own. It's amazing how doable your goal is if you open up the mind and say, okay, what is the huge thing I could do this week, this month, that would lead me forwards towards that goal, no matter what I fear? So if it is about knocking on doors, if it is calling up people, selling yourself, working on the skills that you haven't got now, so being really self-aware on, have I actually got the skills to achieve this goal? If not, I better bloody work on them. I better book that coaching session or whatever it is with somebody who's going to train me up. This is where the mind needs to be. So it has this big goal, but then it brings it back down to, right, I've got to take a leap forward. I need progress, not focusing on the obstacles. Just think about the obstacles as being something that just gets in your way, and it's just your own mind's way of saying, this is why you can't do it. This is what stops other people. Look past that. It's like, what can be done to leap forward? And that's what you've got to do. This is why you need a lot of energy and obsession towards your goal, because it's going to take that to convince you to go for it. To not fear what could happen if it goes wrong. To not think about a plan B, because plan B just takes your focus away from plan A. You've got this one shot at life. Plan A is all you'll go for. And if you don't get there, you'll find something else. But at least you went for it. So always know, what is the first step I can take today? Give the mind something to actually say, right, this is what you can do about it. And then when we get there, when we've achieved this first part, which may be sponsorship for you, it might be something else. When you've achieved that, we then get the next leap, the next area of focus that we're going to really nail in the next month. And you keep doing this. Obviously, you bring it back down to days. Fill in your days of activity that allows you to achieve that month's goal. But if you just keep doing that, you'll feel yourself getting closer. You'll get more intelligence on the industry that you're in, and you will get there eventually. And if not, you find out whether you're good enough to get there or not. There's no problem in actually going for it. Going for it is part of what you're here for. What I don't want you to do is to get to 90 years old and look back and say, I wish I'd done it. That's just a waste. That's what most people end up doing. They wish they'd loved more. They wish they'd cared less about what other people think. They wish they'd questioned themselves less and just allowed themselves to go for it. But as they're looking back and they're 99 years old and they can't really do much about it now, they just live in regret. So you spent and you can imagine, right? You spent 99 years going through life and you're still unhappy. Even if you sat in your mansion, you're still unhappy. It's like, guys, I want you to prevent yourself from letting that happen, if that makes sense. I want to prevent that from happening to you. And the way you do that is you have a vision, you juice it up, you see where you are now, you basically understand what the first step is, the big one, something that will make you go forward. It'll push your comfort zone as well. Like, God, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that is juice. That's energy. That's what it's like when you're chasing a dream. You see any film, it's got this one little person at the beginning, the hero of the film. They're nowhere near their goal. They fight. They get there. No, they get halfway there. They take a big hit in their career and they come back and it's amazing finishing. This is you. This is life. That's why that storyline pretty much is the same all the way through Hollywood. But it's true and people live that. And it's for you. This is real life. You can do it. So talking about now, back to the drawing again. You look at now and you say, okay, for me to go from here, this point, to where I want to be, what skills do I need? What people do I need in my life? What tasks have I got to do? And you start to come up with, okay, I can see how to advance this person, this me now, by giving them the skills, by giving them, it could be people skills, could be sales skills, could be driving skills. I've got to know exactly what it is that takes me up this ladder, that takes me across the bridge. I need to know and understand what it is. And you start to work on them. You start to say, okay, I need to know how to sell. I need to get a proposal together. I need to find out what companies, this is if you want sponsorship. I need to find out what companies actually need nowadays and find a way of giving it to them and selling them a product that actually does it. Take that money and maybe that allows me to go up the ladder. Or I need to work on my driving. What I don't want you to do is start to, like most people do, they have this big goal, it's great, and they start to work on the things that don't really make a difference. They start to get in the gym. And they're spending 3 hours a day in the gym, yet they've got no money to race. There's no point. It's motorsport. What have you got to do in a car? You get in the car, you turn the wheel, you push the pedals. And if you're not quite fit enough for that car, you go to the gym and you work out and you get better. But don't spend 3 hours a day on or 2 hours or 1 hour a day on your fitness if you've got no cash to race in the first place. That's crazy. You better get the cash first. Get in the championship on the grid and you'll sort the fitness out later. It's prioritizing what needs to be done in order to get the biggest gain in the next month. 30 days. How can you make sure you've got 20 grand more in the bank account in 30 days? This is the kind of question, or questions, should I say, type that you should be asking yourself. You force yourself. So if you're driven by a goal with obsession and you ask yourself difficult questions to answer, like the 30 days, how can I get 30 grand in 30 days? And then I can do a whole season. I've got to create now 30 grand's worth of value to company and sell it to them, sell it to all these companies, get 30 companies to give me $1,000 each. You start to think a bit different then. And you haven't been in the gym. You're not wasting time on doing research on other drivers. No, this is all about you bringing that goal down. What's the big leap? How can I force myself, push myself this month? And even if you only get a quarter of the way of your goal for that month, for that leap goal that you've got in that month, you're going to be advancing. This is what it comes down to. So really, it's not allowing the obstacles that you've been hiding behind. I know you have. The reasons why you don't think you can do it. I'm from a different country, you know, there's not much motorsport here, so move. I haven't got the money. Provide enough value to somebody to get the money, or go and work for a race team, learn the industry, become a mechanic, find out what it's all about, work at a race school. There's all these things you can do to get yourself in the industry and learn from the inside, make contacts and go forward. It's 1,000 things you can do, but it's about doing them. It's about being intelligent. Where am I now? What's my skill set? I can see that I'm rubbish at driving at the moment. I can see that I can't really sell. Right, this month, I'm going to make sure that I do 3 track days. I'm going to get a driver coach, or should I say an instructor. It don't cost much, probably like another 50 or 100 quid on top of the track day. And they're going to teach me how to drive. I'm going to make sure I get a job within the industry so I can earn some good money. I'm going to make sure I learn how to sell. I'm going to do that program and make sure I learn how to sell, get the sponsorship. And then by the time 2 months come, I'm going to be so much better and I'm going to keep growing. This is all possible. So I really want you to make sure that you're not focusing on obstacles. You're just focused on the goal and what can be done now to leap forward this month. And if you keep updating it, you keep monitoring, you keep making sure that your calendar is full every single day of things that are forcing you forward. Even if you've only got 2 hours left in the day after school or work or whatever to work on this, what can I possibly do today to become the best race driver in the world? If that's the goal. So I hope that just one of these things, because I flew through the whole thing so fast, I hope that just one of these things hits home. It's ignore the obstacles. Focus on what needs to be done and the person that you need to become in order to get what you want. And if you do that each day, keep refreshing. What is it this month I've got to really get my teeth into? And you overcome the fear of what people think and what they're saying. Just get rid of all that. It's obstacles as well. It's all about you and doing and executing. You're going to get somewhere. And if racing doesn't work out, you're going to make an amazing business person. You're going to make an amazing coach, whatever it is. It's going to take you somewhere. Because when you start advancing in life, taking action every day, you just go down paths that you never thought. You might even find something you love more on the way, like I did. I wanted to be a race driver, but actually performance coaching, life coaching, all that came in. It was like, oh, I prefer this actually. I can't help it. It was an obsession once and it changed. It can happen for you. You can be running $1 billion business in the future and you're like, you know what? This started through racing or something else. Whatever it is for you, know what it is, know the big goal, make it more subjective. You can't even measure it, which goes against the old SMART goals, I know, but it seems to work if you want to be open-minded. Let the subconscious choose your path. Know what the goal is, know why you want it, juice it up, become obsessed, and then bring it back to how am I going to leap forward this month? And then what can I do today? Keep the mind focused on progress, focused on possibility, focused on growth, not obstacles. See you next time.